Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to Latoya's in Tune. I do apologize for the delay. I promised you guys 2 videos today, and you will get those 2 videos. I want to start by thanking everybody who subscribed so far. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. And also, if you have the time, add a comment. If you notice there's some background noise, that is my son. You will probably hear him a lot during this video. You may even see me pause to correct his actions. So don't think I'm being mean. I'm just having to adjust his behavior. It's a really good thing that everybody who is subscribing and interested in my channel know that I'm doing this for the sake of parents who don't have an outlet, or parents who don't know who to talk to, or they have questions about certain things to figure out, hey, am I doing this right? We all need to come together and do this, because I still strongly believe that it takes a village to raise a child, and I believe that is what's causing so much destruction in our world, because everybody's now all mind your business. This is not involving you. You need to go away and don't include any 2 cents. But I don't believe in it. I find that it helps when you have a support system. So those 2 topics, children being disciplined or being influenced, rather, not even just disciplined but influenced by outer forces and sources, is one of my topics for today. And then just to kind of continue on to my second video, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a preview of that. It's about having that support system as a mother, or even a single father, or even just a couple who is raising a child that they kind of are not in tune with. And I'm saying that to say that we all went through things as children. We were all raised a certain kind of way, but that doesn't mean that that's how we want to raise our kids. So having a support system behind you will keep you sane, first of all, and it will also help you identify the mistakes that you make, because as adults, we do make mistakes. I don't understand why people feel like they're perfect because they're an adult. But those are my 2 topics today. So the first one, as I mentioned, is, for lack of a better word, how the devil uses your children, or how he attacks your children to get to you. Now, people may say that they don't believe in that. They don't see how that's possible. But if you believe in God, you have to also believe in the devil. You have to also believe that a different kind of force is here on earth, if you believe that the Holy Spirit does exist. So keep that in mind while I discuss this with you. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and also add your comment and provide feedback, because it may help or touch someone that does not have that. Second topic, the support. So let's go ahead and go into the first one. We find that our children, of course, they do things, they say things, and, just illustrate certain behaviors because maybe they saw their friends do it and they got away with it, or even something that they've heard us say or do. And they feel like it's okay because they want to be in that position of adulthood, and they want to be like, grown or whatever. And a lot of times people don't understand that sometimes kids do things not necessarily because they want to be grown, but because they truly are being attacked by the devil. If you don't believe that the devil exists, just use this as an analogy. It doesn't have to be physically the devil. But if you feel like your child has been growing up being the same kind of kid, you can recognize his attitude, her attitude, you can recognize their normal behavior, but then it changes, what are you causing that to be related to? Are you saying, oh, they're just acting out, they just want attention? What are you saying? What are you giving as being reason? Now, I hear a lot of people say, kids do things for attention. See, I told you he would be here. He won't leave me alone, but it's fine. Say hi, Scooter. Yeah. Do you say that they're seeking attention? The reason I ask that question is because I've heard it a lot. Not necessarily just from myself, but I've heard people say it about their own kids. And my thing is, they may very well be doing it for attention. But you have to remember that if a person's willing to do anything for attention, that means they have to do something. Anything and something are 2 different things. Meaning that if I see a kid do something that is so totally off their own norm for attention, I'm going to question myself and say, what is it that they're seeking? Because if a person is willing to do minute things to get attention, they probably will be willing to do major things to get attention if that attention is not given soon enough. And when you say attention, what are you talking about? Are you saying, oh, they just want to be seen? Because I used to hear that a lot when I was a kid. Oh, you just trying to be seen with your little fast tail and da-da-da-da, whatever. Maybe I am. Maybe I forget that you know that I'm here. Sometimes as children, we feel like our parents are so wrapped up in their problems, stress, money, their friends, their work, stuff like that. I know as a kid, I feel like that sometimes. So I feel like kids these days still exist, they still experience that, and maybe even on a more severe level, especially when there's so much social media. There's so much other outlets that parents are doing now. They leave their kids any and everywhere. That's how these kids are being molested and, all this stuff because their parents are not around. So if a child starts to act out for attention, if that's what you want to use, just keep in mind that it may be a legitimate reason. That attention is necessary for them. See, what people don't understand is everybody in this world is different for a reason. Everybody reacts to things differently. Everybody looks for certain things different when they're doing something. So like, for example, I have a kid where if they do something good, they absolutely are looking for an affirmation. But I also have a kid who don't care about that. So you have to be willing to identify the differences amongst your children, especially if you have more than two. You have to be willing to acknowledge the fact that you are only one person. However, if there is a second parent, you need to also make sure that they're involved in those kind of behaviors, because eventually it will start to eat them up. Whether you believe it or not, I have said this time and time again, from coaching basketball, cheerleading, and just having my own kids. I've always said that just because they're kids does not mean that they don't have feelings. And it doesn't mean that you are always right because you're an adult. We have made so many mistakes, and we have, just been us, that we forget about them. No, I don't mean that we forget that they're there. I mean that we forget, aside feeding them and clothing them and taking them where they want to go and letting them do what they want to do, we forget that their brains are still working. Their brains are still thinking and feeling things. You need to tap into that, because if you don't, the devil will. An idle mind is very much so the devil's playground. And I know for certain that I was a victim of idle mind, because I had, hobbies or whatever. I wrote poetry, I wrote songs, I read books. I was a geek to the T. You hear me? When I say I was a nerd, I was a nerd. Thank God I agree with a little bit. But the fact that after a while that stuff became boring. I wanted to go out and do stuff that my classmates were doing, and I couldn't do that. So the fact that I wanted to do something different, but my mom wouldn't allow me to, it caused me to lose interest in the things that I already had interest in. So now my mind is idle. Now the devil is getting at me. He's telling me, oh, nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody cares what you want to do. They just want you to be a kid forever. That's what he's telling me. So if I know I went through that, I know that my kids go through that. That's why I try not to limit them. I do explain to them that, if a situation arises and I don't have the funds, you can't do it. But I certainly support them in everything that I can allow them to do. I would like for people to understand that when I say the devil, again, I'm not speaking of the physical devil, but I mean that there's a force that is being transferred, meaning it can go from one kid to another to influence one another to do some shit they know they don't have a business doing. So you have to be mindful that sometimes if you're living a certain kind of way and God has been trying to get you to change it and you won't, he will allow the devil to test you. And sometimes it's not even you directly. Sometimes it will be your child that suffers from that antagonizing feeling of the devil pulling at them spiritually, mentally, physically, all these things kind of go together. So when you start to notice that change, please act on it. Don't be the one to ignore it because you feel like the devil is not real or depression is not real. Stuff like that is so very real, especially in this day and age. And I don't know if it's because I'm going to be honest. Originally, I didn't believe in depression. I didn't believe in mental illness and things like that. But I find that over time, we start to notice that a lot of the patterns that we're experiencing when it comes to like sicknesses, like we get the flu more often now. We have people with more diabetes and overweight and stuff like that. It's because of all these chemicals that they put in these foods, first of all. This shit is not genetic. It's chemically, and it's a lot of stuff that's going into this chicken, this beef, and all this stuff. And it affects you because your body is made to be a temple. Now, I'm not going biblical, mind you. I am saying in a sense that our bodies are designed to do so many things at once. Our brain is like the best computer in the world if it's functioned properly. Your brain can tell you to see, talk, hear all at the same time. I know that sounds stupid, but if you think about it, some people can't do that. So they have a disability. The reason that's important is because, as I was saying, all these chemicals and all this stuff that they put in this food, and then on top of that, all the chemicals that are in the environment and all the stuff that we do to ourselves, like smoking, because I certainly do that, and I know I need to stop, but all the stuff that we do to ourselves, it's like we're self-destructing. As adults, we are self-destructing ourselves. How do you think that affects your child? Because they don't know, well, they may know that it's wrong, but they want to be like mommy and daddy. So if you are weak in your faith and in your spirit, why don't you think what that's doing to your kids? How do you know that the devil's not allowing himself to be used? Because all he want to do is fuck up. So if your child is also watching you and you know, watching your behaviors, watching how you interact, you know, if you have a relationship with God, they're watching you, and they in turn are saying, oh, this is, I can do that. I mean, mama doing it, daddy doing it. So now they are now a prime target for the devil's work. I just want people to think about that. That is my topic for today. Please feel free to comment, share your opinions. I greatly appreciate all feedback. Like, subscribe, and share. Latoya's in tune. I will always keep it real with you. I will never pass my opinion as facts. I will always pass it as opinion and make it clear that it's just my understanding. But that is why I welcome feedback, because maybe I don't have the proper understanding. Maybe I need to have that dialogue with someone else who has a different opinion that may sway me. Now, I'm very hard to win over. Understand that. So before you come with this, and I'm not saying it in a confrontational way. I'm saying that and say, before you come spitting all your opinions, make sure that you have the mind to effectively communicate and on a level of intelligence. I don't argue. I just speak what I truly feel. Again, that's it for now. I'll be back later with my second topic for today. Again, kind of piggybacking off of this, just basically talking about the support that we need as parents to keep that devil away from our children, especially when you're not as religious as some. Love y'all. Thank y'all for y'all support. Look forward to interacting with all of you. Have a great day. Well, night.